Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Liquor Licensing Panel on the Friday, the 3rd of March, 2023. This is following on from the adjourned meeting of the 10th of February, 2023 to discuss the licensing application. So we've got, I assume we've got agendas. Steve, any apologies for absence? I see none.
Mr. Castle, who was here last time.
Apologies, Scott.
I understand you. Fair enough. Thank you. Members, any interest? No. Okay. Thank you. Item 2. Item 3. To confirm the minutes of the previous meeting held.
That's already confirmed the minutes on the last occasion.
Yeah, I mean the members have to agree with the minutes. Yeah.
You confirmed them. You agreed the minutes last time.
Did we?
Before we started.
Oh, okay.
Before we start, we've got on to the.
Okay. They're all agreed then. Thank you. Okay, we're on to item 4, to vary a premise licence. So I'll come to you, Mr. Bryant, the Senior Licensing Officer. Any updates or amendments you wish to bring forward to the committee?
Yes, certainly, Chair, members. I'm pleased to say that following the adjournment of this meeting, that the Environmental Protection Team have had a meeting with the applicant, and they have been able to agree conditions to enable them to withdraw their representation in front of the panel. Hopefully the panel would have had the amended Appendix 6 with the agreed and revised conditions. Obviously at the top half of the appendix is the agreed conditions with the police, and the bottom half are the conditions which have been agreed between the applicant and the Environmental Protection Team, which enable them to withdraw their representation. The Environmental Protection Team are present in case the panel have any additional questions that they wish to ask, but the panel no longer need to consider their representations in respect of this matter. The only representations which remain outstanding are those from the interested party, Mr. Tilbury. Mr. Tilbury was informed by email by myself of the adjournment of the hearing and the new time and date for the meeting to be reconvened. I haven't heard anything more from him in connection with that, and obviously he hasn't appeared today to speak to the panel. So I would point out to the panel that Mr. Tilbury's representations on the grounds of the prevention of public nuisance do still remain outstanding to be considered by yourselves. However, they were summarised to yourselves during the first meeting and are detailed within the body of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Thank you very much. Has anybody got any questions they would like to ask Senior Licensing Officer? No, I see none. Okay, thank you. Environmental Team, would you like to just sort of discuss with us or tell us how you arrived at the decision with the applicant, number of days, etc., and what is going to be in the noise management, what you expect to see in the noise management plan? I think that's a couple of areas we think is important, please.
Yeah, we met with the applicants last Friday to thrash out the issue with number of days and the levels. Scott was there, you know, their acoustic consultant, and we've agreed those levels. We think that they are achievable. So
sorry, are they in sort of a level of sound? Is that in decibels, or how's that going to be measured, please? Can you just
it will be in decibels. It will depend on the number of days that the applicant wants each year, and that's part of what's going into the noise management plan. They will let us know in advance how many days they want on a particular year, and then we will decide the level. So depending on the number of days, then we will agree the level. So it'll be agreed each year, depending on what they want to do.
Yeah, but we're still, I just understand, it's still only 49 days per year.
A maximum of 49 days, but depending, if they go up to 30, there will be one level, and anything above 30, there'll be a quieter level.
Okay, I think that needs to be documented, doesn't it? I think that needs to be apparent out.
I think that as it's got to be approved within the noise management plan annually, I think that is something that is doesn't need to be clarified as a condition, because it would be either approved as part of the noise management plan by the Environmental Protection Team, or it wouldn't be approved. So if, for example, we're looking at a figure X for under 30 days, and the proposal, the noise management plan came in for 2023 and said, actually, we're going to do 49 days at figure X, Environmental Protection would say, no, we're not approving that. That would be perfectly proper exercise of the functions. So as long as the noise management plan is within the acceptable parameters, then I don't think there's any need to specify within the conditions what that is, because there's the caveat, the sort of saving position in relation to the Environmental Protection Team's approval of the noise management plan.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you. Anything else you wish to add, Jane or Oliver? No, okay. Mr. Brandt, I'll come to you in a minute. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to just follow up on the advice you've just had from Mr. Vickers with regard to putting decibel levels within the conditions. I personally, from a licensing department point of view, would advise against it because it makes it difficult to enforce and regulate. It's far better to enforce through the noise management plan than through an actual condition.
Okay, thank you. I'll come to Councillor.
It's been answered.
Okay, thank you.
My...
Applicants, anything you wish to ask of the environmental team?
No, can I just say thank you?
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else applicants you wish to, Mr. Thornton, you wish to add at all at this point?
I think you'd invite the applicants to sum up, because...
Okay, yeah, if you would sum up or add anything, that'd be fine, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, good morning.
Morning.
First of all, thank you for your decision last time to adjourn. As the brief conversation is just outlined, I think it's been productive couple of weeks. Again, just to put on record, my clients are grateful for the productive meeting with Environmental Health and their decision to withdraw their representation on the as a result of the discussion. And just to update you on the noise management plan situation, you did touch about about the agreement to it. We actually have agreement with Mrs. Cooper and Mr. Benson that the noise management plan will be signed off this week. It's just awaiting one or two technical issues on the actual drafting of it. But there is agreement that's going to be signed off this week or next week. Sorry. The only outstanding matter today is Mr. Tilbury's representation, which I'll deal with very, very briefly. Committee will also note that our agreement to the new and amended conditions in Appendix 6. I'm not going to go over old ground with Mr. Tilbury's representation, but it is right that as that is still on the table, that I address it. But you may be interested to note that Mr. Tilbury contacted Mr. Beer during this time that we've since the last meeting, and Mr. Beer and his son have had a very, very productive and informative meeting with Mr. Tilbury during that time. So there is discussion ongoing there. Mr. Tilbury's representation, as I outlined last time, I think I described it as being long on rhetoric and irrelevant information and devoid of a lot of fact. No evidence was produced to align the alleged noise that he in his representation with the site, my client's site. And despite the assertion that Environmental Health had told him otherwise, that's completely borne out by a lack of mention by Environmental Health of any complaints, let alone substantiated ones. So I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, and your committee, that you're entitled to place little weight on his representation, although I do wholly accept that his representation does hit the points for relevancy in some parts, and you clearly have to, within the law, consider it. So, in conclusion, my client's expertise in entertainment and business management has been given a very good airing here, certainly at the last hearing. They run this site on a premises licence for the past 10 years, providing entertainment with no complaints. They're internationally and nationally renowned, as I explained last time, as experts in this area of entertainment. So I submit that the measures proposed in the application, together with the amended noise management plan and the new conditions, will ensure that the licensing objectives will be promoted to the satisfaction of all regulatory bodies. And I further submit that you can grant the application safe in that knowledge and commend the application to you. And I'd just like to thank you again for your time in this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have any questions of the applicant at all? Mr. Grant? Councillors?
Thank you very much for your representation. I just wondered, the new condition in Appendix 6 was changed from September to December, and I just wondered why that was.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you sort of add to why you're not using January to, when would it be? End of May, yes. So we're just intrigued by the number of that period of time. Is that good?
Well, it aligns with a potential summer season. Obviously, there's some historical relevance to the site with the maze. We do pick our own sunflowers as well, so that may well fall into that summer season. The pumpkin farm is open to October, and potentially we're looking at doing some form of Christmas light trail or something along those lines in the future. So we having something that's got some flexibility with it, rather than having to keep coming back with a new license variation, gives us the flexibility. And I think we totally understand that where the EHO are coming from on the number of days. And to give us that, it'll probably fall between the 15 and 30 days most years until we want to flex it one way or the other. But it gives us that flexibility to be able to do that and have those conversations.
Any questions?
Thank you. Do you have any plans for week-long activities within these days?
Or longer?
Or longer,
No,
yeah.
the only period that we currently run as a week long would be through the half-term week for the pumpkin farm. So basically no, we don't. It would be very sort of bespoke.
What would your view be if, say, they submitted a plan for like a 2-week festival or something like that? What would environmental health feel about that? Just to say that did happen. I'm not suggesting you are, but...
Consultant, and get his opinion on what's achievable, because that's been the problem on this site, because it's open, obviously, with no structures. What do you think?
I think realistically it depends on the noise level, and what we basically said is the more events they have, the lower the noise level. So if whether they run it kind of on separate events or whether they do it all in 2 weeks, it's still that we're saying, well, you're running for 2 weeks now, so it needs to be a lower noise level.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't see more. So, okay, we'll go away and thank you very much for your presentation this morning and attendance. We'll go away and deliberate our decision. Thank you.
Harry retired, so I'd perhaps invite everyone to wait. We'll come back shortly.
We all back? Yes, excellent, thank you very much, okay. Firstly, I'd just like to say, the committee is very happy the way the positive conversations have gone between environmental health and yourselves as the applicants, so commended for that. That's really good work and good news. And also the ongoing discussions with Mr Tilbury would be very beneficial. I think I'm glad that you've actually approached them. So I always say with planning, you know, if you have a planning application, talk to your neighbours because they're the ones most likely to object. So thank you for that. Committee have deliberated it and we've agreed to approve the application. We just would like the removal on the revised conditions, the words "as agreed annually." We don't think we need to say that because it says it in the previous paragraph and in the final amended condition. So there'll be no licences or activities of live and recorded music are permitted outside the maximum of 49 days between 1st of June and 31st of December, and not as agreed annually because it's already covered in the operational plan. So again, thank you all for coming back and seeing it through. It really is good to see that you work together with Environmental Team and the Mid-Sussex Council. So thank you very much. Good luck with your ventures in the future. Thank you.
You'll all be written to let you know, to confirm the outcome.
Thank you very much for coming back again and giving us the time to work it through. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.